Most parents feel like they have lost something. They feel slower, they feel stiffer, they feel weak, and they feel less athletic. But it's not laziness. It's broken training systems, still using the same bodybuilding split that you used in your 20s, but isn't fit for purpose for your life now. Now, I've been in this situation. I'm a former athlete, and the training system that I used to use no longer fit the life that I want to live now that I don't play and that I'm a parent. So I developed a routine that is helping me improve my running performance and get stronger in a lot less time. And I'm doing less overall, but still progressing quicker than I was before. So if you stay with me for the next few minutes, I'm going to give you that exact system for you to do yourself. Now, the first thing that I need you to get your head around and get thinking about is that athleticism is not about looks, it's about performance. So this doesn't necessarily mean you have to be playing a sport, and it's sort of a 50-50 split on my clients as to whether they're playing a sport or not. But what we do is we focus on the key physical qualities that make up athleticism and support everyday life. So these are things like strength, power, speed, your aerobic condition and capacity, and your resilience to injury. And there are a few key questions that you could ask yourself to see whether you're athletic and also to define athleticism. So what I always think is, can you lift heavy with confidence as being one of the key tenets for someone who I would consider to be athletic? Can you run, play, do whatever your chosen sport is, and also pick the kids up, play with them, wrestle with them, whatever it may be? Can you do all of that as well without breaking down and be resilient to injuries and have the capacity to do that repeatedly? And then can you move well? Can you move efficiently? Can you move effectively with good mobility and good strength? If you can answer yes to all those questions, you're probably well on your way to being athletic. And physique may be the aesthetics, that may be a byproduct of training for those things, but it isn't our primary focus. Our primary focus is physical performance, which may take a little bit of a reset of your mindset to start focusing. And my solution for this is the Athletic Parent Training Blueprint. This is the core system that I use with myself and my clients to do this. And it has a few key principles that it focuses on. Firstly, we focus on building full body strength using key fundamental movements to build athletic ability. Then we focus on building running performance or whatever your chosen conditioning activity might be, as well as reducing the risk of injuries and any niggles that may exist through good, effective exercise selection. I'm going to go through some of those exercises in a second. And then also, we focus on building a strong and stable core that supports athletic function, everyday movement, and good mobility and strength in that region as well. Now, firstly, for me, the secret weapon for parents and athletes who need to train efficiently and effectively in less time is full body sessions. So I do 3 full body sessions a week, taking 30 to 45 minutes depending on what time I've got available. And the way I do this is I divide my exercises into 3 different sections for my gym sessions. So I've got my strength work first. So this is heavy compound lifts. Now the idea of these is to improve our ability to produce force, to build strength, to build power, and to build good resilience. You get so much bang for your buck from doing these types of exercises. So these are things like squats, deadlifts, bench press, overhead press, pull-ups. And we do this in low volumes, so between 1 and 8 reps, and we do it between 60 and 90% of our 1 rep max. Now these are incredibly effective at building strength. I know they get some hate from some circles of the bodybuilding world, but they are brilliant bang for your buck exercises. So these feature heavily throughout the program. The next type of exercise I do are my accessory exercises. Now these tend to be a bit more moderate in intensity and a bit more moderate in volume, so slightly higher reps. And this is going to focus on increasing robustness, fixing any muscle imbalances that we may have. And if you're running, then these exercises need to feature quite heavily within your program, and fix any specific weaknesses that we may have within movement capabilities. So these are going to be unilateral exercises, stuff like lunges, split squats, dumbbell presses, but also I would class some plyometric exercise in this as well. And like I said, if you're running, plyometrics absolutely needs to be in your program. Improving your ability to be stiff on ground contact is going to help start preventing some overuse injuries and also improve your running economy and therefore your running performance. And then the third type of exercise we pick are our bodybuilding type exercises. Not necessarily to build a very aesthetic physique, but to build muscle mass in key muscle groups and also find any injury potentials that we may have and address common injury muscle groups. So this could be focusing in isolation exercises on the quads, the hamstrings, the biceps, the triceps. And doing that is also going to help then support our strength development in our main compound lifts. So these are going to be really effective, not just for performance, but also making the rest of our training more efficient. And next, and depending on who you are, this will be the bit of the program that you don't like, but the running component to my program. Now this doesn't have to be running, but myself, and it just so happens that a lot of my clients are focused on running at the moment. So you don't have to focus on huge mileage, particularly if you've not got much time. Now look, I'm quite heavy, I'm open about that. I used to play rugby, I'm about 110 kilos at the moment. I've had a lot of ankle injuries in my time, and so huge mileage would cause me an awful lot of problems. So I just do 2 runs per week, and I use the polarized approach. I have 1 longer slow run to build my aerobic system, and then I have 1 fast session. Now this session actually needs to be fast, and personally I alternate between tempo runs and interval runs. So in that fast session I use my 5k pace as a way to set my pacing targets, and that's really important because we don't want to be guessing. We want to be making sure that we are working at the right speeds, okay? So that polarized approach, your slow runs need to be slow and your fast runs need to be fast, okay? So work at either end of that spectrum and avoid doing too much junk mileage in that moderate middle zone. And one of the big things to go alongside this is train with intent. So push hard, but be smart with it. So a lot of people will try and push hard every single session, particularly in that bodybuilding culture. Within my coaching program, I have a number of different athletes. We have rugby players, football players, people who are running marathons, half marathons, 10Ks, people who are doing high rocks, and then people who are just everyday parents that just want to improve their athletic function. Now, if we tried to max those people out every single week, we break down and it wouldn't lead to good progress. So with running, that slow run, like I've said, needs to be slow, but then we can push in the interval and tempo sessions, so they can be quick. Particularly in those interval sessions, that's going to be where I do my speed work. So where I'm going to get above my 5k pace or at 5k and have a good hard run. Now with my strength work, I like to divide it into 8 to 10 week blocks. Now that doesn't mean I'm going to change all the exercise at the end of that block, but I might progress the volume, the reps and the intensity over that 10 weeks with the aim of hitting a PB at the end of that block. And I would only focus trying to hit a PB on 1 to 2 lifts within that block. Inconsistency and change in programs is one of the biggest killers of progress. We adapt to what we are exposed to over and over again repeatedly. So make sure you are moving the big rocks often and regularly for a period of time long enough to get the adaptation that we need from those lifts. You don't need to move on after 6 weeks. You do not need to be changing your program every 6 weeks. This is what separates the true trainers and the athletes from the people who are just dabbling and program hopping. And then finally, dare I mention it, you need to fix your nutrition with a simple and sustainable approach, okay? It doesn't have to be complicated, and that's why I use the Parent Fuel Framework, a very simple system that follows a number of key dieting principles, okay? Protein at every meal, fruit and veg every day, focus on whole foods wherever possible and avoid processed junk foods, use carbs to fuel training, no extreme diets, no restriction obsession, and also, and this is one of my big tips that I give to people, try and eat the same thing 80% of the time. Have that 20% variance, but try and eat the same thing 80% of the time. This reduces decision fatigue, it helps us recover well, perform well, helps us know what we're eating and the amount we are eating, and also avoid binge crash cycles. So if your current training is just making you feel weak, making you feel stiff, making you feel slow, and not helping you feel athletic, you don't need more motivation. You just need a good, simple and effective training system, which I've given you in this video. So that's what the Athletic Parent Training Blueprint do. That's what the Simple Parent Fuel Framework does as well. So this will give you a body that actually looks athletic because you're actually training to be athletic, okay? So please, if you like this video, make sure you like, subscribe, share, comment. I'd love to hear any of your training systems that you're following right now, because I love learning from other people. But if you want to learn more about mine, drop me a DM on Instagram, just message me the word parent, and I'll get back to you on there.